Hello, welcome back everybody. And yes, we're doing magic items. It's Game Master preparation, Dungeon Master preparation. This is a work day, and of course I will be doing a presentation before we go into the actual process of making some homebrew magic items. But I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to present you something I haven't said before, or maybe I have, but this is not something I've normally said in a live stream. Okay, so you might say I have a presentation before my presentation, if that makes sense. I'm going to put up a poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. Also, grab some food and drink. Make sure you're comfortable. Welcome Fred Hubber and Charles, both patrons. I'm glad to have you. So I'm going to do this. We'll see how this goes down. I'm not honestly sure. Hi, welcome to How to RPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I'm going to talk about magic items. Now, the title for this is Mastering Homebrew Magic Items. So you actually being able to master the process of making your own magic items for your role-playing game, whatever you're playing. And I have no doubt that many of you have read many books, looked at many articles on the YouTube, many articles on websites. You've watched so many videos on the topic, and the hard truth is today, the secret that you need to know, and that is you have to make a lot of magic items. You have to make a lot of homebrew magic items to actually master the skill of doing this. Now, I know this sounds obvious, but it's true. It really is true. You have to make a lot. You have to be the one who makes them, not somebody else. But not only that, you have to make a wide range of homebrew magic items. That means small and large. That means powerful and weak. You need to make sure you're making things that are combat orientated and also utility. You need to do both. You need to do all of that. You need to make artifacts. You need to make common magic items, things that are very simple, little potions and scrolls. You need to actually include all of this in your games. All of it. And you need to test it. And who do you test it on? You test it on the players in your group. And that takes time, and you have to be prepared to put them into your campaign. There's no point making a homebrew magic item and thinking, wow, but you have to test it. You have to put it in the game. Otherwise, it means nothing. And this is like the hard truth. You wanted it. I mean, it's all very obvious what I've just said, okay? And frankly, why am I saying it? I'm saying it because I don't think a lot of people actually make it quite clear to you that this is a trial by fire. You actually have to make them, put them in your game, and see what the effect is, and see how your players interact with them so that you'll know what you're doing. And that's it. There is no real secret to it. It's just experience. There's no easy road. So no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how many articles you read, no matter how many books you read, that will not make it easier. You have to just do it. It's as simple as that. Okay, so let's get on to the main presentation for today, which is why you're here in the first place. For those of you who are probably thinking, okay, I've just wasted my time, that's fine. But I was going to say it. I should have said it a long time ago. Anyway, let's do this, shall we? Let's get into the topic for today. Game Master preparation. This is lesson 5, creating magic items. So I'm going to do the very thing that I said you need to sort of not worry about doing, and that is I'm going to explain the process of making a magic item. It doesn't really matter what system it is, but that's what I'll do today. Okay, so the overview for today is the following. How to create a magic item. Like, how do you go about creating a magic item? Where do you get your inspiration from? Creating a balanced magic item for your game. Like, magic item inspiration. Like, those are the sorts of things we're going to discuss. The process of making a magic item. And some miscellaneous recommendations. All of these all tie back together. So, with anything I do on this channel, my objectives is to explain the process of creating a homebrew magic item to you, demonstrate the process, so we'll do some of that here today, and allow you to practice doing that by actually making magic items or something else, a tool for your magic item creation today here in the live stream. That's why we do this, and it's why we do it about every 2 months, come back and just do it all over again. Okay, so how to create a magic item. Our first port of call, what does that look like? Often the creation of a homebrew magic item results in a string of problems for a game master, and it's pretty obvious, right? You're probably all sort of worrying about that right now. Players will generally want more power, more options for their magic items that they find in the game, and this affects the game master's preparation process and the ability for them to develop a challenge for the players. So magic items can actually drive the role-playing game campaign if the game master makes them a major feature or a MacGuffin. They do not need to be a bad thing in your game. They're actually quite a good thing in your game. It's just the way they're used. Start small, incorporate homebrew magic items slowly to reduce the number of issues that you will have occurring. You won't eliminate your problems, but you will certainly reduce your issues by starting slow, starting small. These are very fundamental concepts that most people who have been doing this for a while already know. Now, creating balanced magic items. I'm going to give you the bad news right now. It's just not practical to create a magic item that is balanced in a role-playing game. The game of Dungeons & Dragons 5e, characters don't actually need magic items. The game is actually designed so that they don't actually need to have them to be able to be successful. Whereas something like Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, 4e, Pathfinder, 1st edition require that characters have magic items to keep up with the progression of the monsters in the game. There's another factor that comes into this, and that is, unfortunately for you, you're dealing with a group of people who will find some way of using a magic item in a way you were not expecting. And yes, whether you call it unbalancing, upsetting, derailing your campaign or your adventure, that's always possible, no matter what game system it is. Okay, it doesn't really matter. That will still occur. You just need to know how are you going to respond to it, and then deal with it. Okay, now the power of a magic item from greatest to lowest when it comes to the types of features they have, the greatest being mobility, and then anything from there going down in power would be something like something that grants an extra magical power, or the next one would be, say, a specific magical effect such as casting magic missile. Extra magic power, or granting extra magic power, might be you get access to more spell slots if there's spell slots in your game. Now, martial combat is actually quite low down on this list, but the lowest one is the miscellaneous utility magic items. Things that just do little things that aren't related to combat. They will often have the minimal effect on your game, unless of course you've got some very bright and clever players at your table. Now, magic weapons, armor, and combat-focused items will generally generate the most issues for you, but that's not because they are the most powerful. They are because that is the thing that most people make first. So it's not wise to start off as a game master making combat magic weapons and armor and combat-focused magic items. Start lower than that. Start right at the very beginning. You will, of course, eventually have to do it, but yeah, start lower than that. Next, utility magic items are the best to create for a player character, as they have, as I said, the least effect on the game and usually don't affect combat and counter design, which is one of your biggest problems. Is like, if you're trying to make a combat feel challenging and difficult to deal with, you can't do that if every time they do something they have a wild card or an out or a trump card of some kind. So that's why I always recommend start with the utility magic items. Now, common magic items tend to be their lowest powered level. This is a really good starting point again. So common utility magic items, really good place to start. And then build your experience up from there. The power of a magic item can be adjusted over time if you start with a low scarcity or low rarity and low powered magic item. And this will certainly assist you in avoiding some serious problems, okay? Because it's easier to convince a player that a magic item is all right to have in a game if you start with something that's weak and you increase its power over time if you find it's too weak. But it's hard to go the other way around when you start with a magic item that's extremely powerful, maybe even overpowered for what you had intended, and you need to tone it down. Players don't like that, and you might be saying, well, okay, well, it's just tough bickies. Well, yes, it is tough bickies, but you wind up creating a whole lot of bad feelings around the whole process. And because a lot of people out there are going to be dealing with new players or inexperienced players who've only been playing maybe a couple of years, if that, they just don't have the maturity to understand the ins and outs of being a game master. And so they will not be able to see it from your point of view. Okay. Next, the process of making a magic item. Well, I'll say it right now. Here we go. Inspiration. Inspiration for magic items. Harry Potter movies and books. They're really great. Great examples. Very simple magic items that have an assortment of all sorts of fun effects. Things that are humorous, funny, useful, but not necessarily will win the tide of a battle. Novels and fantasy, science fiction include magic items, so you can port that stuff over to your game. Historical magic items from mythology and legend. Computer games, video games have lots of magic items you could use. Common and simple magic effects for your role-playing game can usually be found in, I think one of the best resources I've ever come across has got to be Xanathar's Guide to Everything. It's got about 5 pages of just common utility magic items with odd effects. And I'm sure there are other books out there that you could be using as well. Now, antiques, heirlooms, trinkets that aren't magical can be turned into magical items, giving them a sort of a very flavorful magical property. This is all stuff that you've probably already heard before, okay? The Player's Handbook for 5e has a lot of potential because there's a trinkets table that gives you 100 different trinkets, and so each of those trinkets is potentially a new magic item. The other thing is you'll find that trinket tables are a dime a dozen. You can find them for free on the internet everywhere. Now, older versions of Dungeons & Dragons magic items can also be ported over to your game or modified in some way, or just be inspiration for whatever you've decided to come up with. Okay, next, the process of making a magic item. How does that actually look? Give a magic item an interesting or obvious name to tell a part of the story of the object or indicate the function of your magic items. Create a magical effect that has a benefit or a detrimental effect. It doesn't always have to be positive. It's always good to have some negative stuff as well. Special magic weapon abilities. Okay, you'll find a huge list of these special weapon abilities in the Game Master Guide for Pathfinder First Ed Edition. There's a bunch of different suggestions. If you go back and have a look at AD&D, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, the Game Master Guide, First Ed Edition, you'll find there's a whole lot of magic item properties and ideas in there. And it's actually, in many cases, been ported over to Dungeons & Dragons 5e for their Dungeon Master Guide. So if you're wondering if that was stuff that was created by Wizards of the Coast, not really. But they do have that listed there as well. It is scattered throughout the book, unfortunately. So minor properties, quirks, things like that, always useful. What is the history or intent of the magic item? Okay, and if you need ideas, usually you'll find there are a bunch of ideas in a Dungeon Master Guide or a Game Master Guide. Determine the power level of your magic item. Okay, is it low-powered, moderately powered, or incredibly powerful, high-powered magic item? And then look at how rare it should be. So something that's rare is going to be very powerful. Something that's very weak isn't going to be that rare. You'll find a lot more of them. Selecting the appropriate scarcity or rarity for a magic item really helps define its power. The bond required or attunement of a magic item helps stop player characters stacking too many magical items all at once and benefiting from all those magical effects all at once, particularly if you have flooded your market or flooded your game with magic items. So there's a reason why we have attunement. So any kind of magical bond or attunement, it is best to be assigned to a magic item that has a permanent effect and where they don't have to worry about running out of a magical effect. Okay, things that have a single use or charges, not quite so important. So then you've got to look at your magic item. Is it going to have charges? Does it recharge at dawn? Does it recharge after a couple of days? Does it only recharge if you take it to a special pull and perform a type of ritual? Do you have to go and take it to a wizard to get it recharged? So does it self-recharge, or does somebody have to physically recharge it? Permanent magic effects, things that always function. Like a magic sword tends to be a permanent magical effect. Single-use items such as healing potions. Okay? Those are the sorts of things you need to consider. That's the sort of stuff you're going to build into your magic item. Now, whenever I do this, I always like to give some miscellaneous recommendations, and I will give you some miscellaneous recommendations for today. Expect to make mistakes when you're making your magic item. The process of creating homebrew magic items for your game, for your players to use, is always fraught with peril. In other words, you will make mistakes, and that is fine. Okay? It is not the end of the world. Your game will not self-implode. There are ways of getting out of it. And it always comes down to having an adult conversation with the people you are playing with. If you can't have an adult conversation with the people you're playing with, then of course you have a bit of a problem. But I would imagine most of you are. It is fine to take an existing magic item and reskin the item into something else. So rather than building the entire thing from scratch, you can simply just repurpose it, reskin it, rename it, and voila, you have a magic item. That is still home brewing. It's very minor home brewing, but it's still a home brew. Okay. There is no mathematical formula. So no matter how much you hear this, there is no mathematical formula, no mathematical process, no guidelines that will give you the perfect magic item that will avoid players finding a way of exploiting it. There is no formula for it. The reality is that players will always find a way to exploit items if there is a possibility of doing so. And since you are one brain against anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 brains, you're always going to find that they're going to figure out a way of doing it. And of course, you have the benefit of nerds like playing Dungeons and Dragons, and nerds find solutions to things that most people don't find solutions to. So you do need to be wary of the fact that you do not have a perfect guide or solution for doing this. Look, I really hope this was useful to you in some way. And if it was, fantastic. I want to thank all of my patrons who support me on Patreon so I can keep running this program every single week. I do appreciate them. It really makes a huge difference. I want to thank you for listening and watching. It really helps if there are people who are interested in this topic. Otherwise, there's no point me running this program. And look, all the best with your magic item creation. And don't worry about the mistakes. Just keep making more until you figure it out. It's the first year's always the worst. Anyway, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, hello everybody. I am back. So let's go through the chat, and then we will decide what we're going to do. I am not sure what people want to do here, so I'm actually going to put in a question right now. Then I'm going to go through the chat because I can see a bunch of you have been commenting, and then we'll decide what we're going to do in terms of our Game Master preparation. So let me do this hashtag. What do we make today? So, what do we make today? We can make a 100 list of negative magic item properties, or we'll say quirks. Quirks. We already have a list of 100 magic item properties. I can't remember if I put it up on Patreon though. I'm not even, did I remember to actually show it to everybody? Honestly, I'm not too sure, but I will show you that it does exist. Now the other choice is we can just make some magic items. We could do that as well. So I'll put this in. So what do we make today? 100 list of negative magic item quirks, or do we just make some magic items? Curses and quirks is all right. So I'm going to let people have an opportunity to comment on that. And while you're deciding, I will read out and see what people have to say here and respond to those comments. And then we'll get down to the business of it. Okay, so going to the top. So far, everybody here has made their own homebrew magic items. So you're probably already aware of all the things I just pointed out today. Cool. Right, Fred Hubber. Fred Hubber's a patron. Let there be a breakfast skillet. Once a day provides bacon and eggs cooked to perfection for 5 medium creatures. Self-cleaning too. What's this thing called? Fred, what is this magic item called? I mean, it's very specific. And it's hilarious. I'll give you that. It's absolutely hilarious. I find it very entertaining. But here's the question. What the heck do you call that? And how powerful do you think that is? I think that's a common magic item myself. But I'm curious as to what your your bent on this one would be. So good laugh. And Charles has decided to steal that idea. Well, good. So that was useful for you, Charles. You just had to listen to me talking. What do you got here, Fred? We can hand PCs all of the kitchen gadgets we want, but they can do with them what best they can do with them in combat is use it as an improvised weapon to break resistance. Oh, okay, all right. So yeah. Self-cleaning rag, a 10-foot pole. Do we really think that a 10-foot pole is a magic item? I mean, I suppose an extendable pole would probably be, yeah. The immovable rod has a sister, and it's called the extendable pole. Or is it a brother? It'll be one of those. A self-cleaning rag. Dear. What else have we got here? I'm going to try to work my way through your comments fairly quickly, but if I'm taking too long, you let me know. I'm honestly not in a huge rush today. I've been feeling a little bit under the weather, as people know, and I am hanging out for my holidays, and that's just a fact. I know it. Everybody else knows it, and yeah, that's where my head is at. Okay, so let's see what else have we got here. Every Ron Popeil gadget of the 1970s and 80s. Make the magic version that actually works. I don't know very much about that. Watch for unintentional consequences. Best defense versus the item has a lifespan. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. The problem is, that's the whole point, is you do have to watch for unintended consequences, but you won't know what they are quite often until you actually put them into your game. That's the reality. So yeah. Cyril, what do you got here? With a magic mouth spell that travels around with the magic item spouting as seen on. I don't know what that meant. What are we getting at there, Cyril? What's the point? The snake oil salesman cart, surrounded by illusions, played ads, and voiceover getting mixed up. Okay. I have the AD&D Unearthed Arcana. I plan on cheating with my ideas. And there's nothing wrong with cheating. When you say cheating, really, you're porting some of their ideas over. You may not be using them exactly the same, but even if you were, does it really matter? First magic item a DM gave my PC. Longsword engraved. I am. Effect of owner could be drunk or suffer alcohol poisoning while carrying it. Okay, all right. Was there a reason behind that? That was the only magic on the sword. Ah, dear. Lovely. Consider a 40... What 40 Oz bottles of beer, costs less than a litre of water, sounds handy. I don't know where we're going with this. This conversation is going, oh God, don't talk about the girdle. I know which girdle you're talking about. Let's leave the girdle alone. Yes, it was OP. Hey, there's... Milton, don't worry about it. It's all good. Look, keeping up with me is pretty hard. It really is. Girdle of the oil flask produces an unlimited amount of oil flasks. Oh, good Lord. Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's have a look and see what people want to do today. Let's create my vote. Okay, dealer's choice. I don't know what that's all about. What does that mean? So I put up the question. I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say, people. The breakfast skillet is the skillet of breakfast. Skillet of breakfast, really? All right. Skillet of breakfast it is. Of breakfast. The problem with making a magic item like this, I would just like to point out, is that players will not see the funny side at all. they're not going to like it. Okay, I had a magic poison steak on. So you guys are all over the place, all over the place. I cannot keep up with. I don't know what's going on here in the chat. Trenton, Hasty, how are you? Welcome. I think we're going to have to... Negative and magic item traits could be tricky. Yes, they could be tricky. I know they could be tricky. It can be done, though. The reality is that at some point, we're going to have to make it. But we don't have to make it today. Do you know what I mean? Because we'll roll around in about 2 months and we'll wind up doing this. So I'm fine with... Weapons are always a hit. Well, yes. Okay, there's a lot of gags going on here. All right. Okay, so I think from what I can see, people want to make magic items. That's fine. So we'll make some magic items rather than doing negative quirk and traits. Since people think that's too difficult, that's cool. No problems. So what we'll do is I will go over to my share screen and we'll pull that over and we'll start. Now I've got that. I need to go over here, right about here. Oh, hang on. I will show you this because I don't remember if anybody knows we actually made this a little while back, and maybe that'll be a little bit helpful to you. I'll get my phone ready. And no, screw that. Push that button there. Are you kidding me? It's playing an ad and I can't skip it. An unskippable ad. Wonderful. Pale Rider, negative effects. Okay, all right. Let me show you this first. So you know there are actually 100 magic item properties that we created in the past. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, it's way too hard to try to do that for negative traits or properties or something like that. But it can be done. We can do it. So you can see it's all alphabetical. It's all in alphabetical order. I don't remember if I put this up on Patreon, and if one of the patrons remembers if I put it up on Patreon, please let me know and we'll do that. But it covers pretty much anything and everything under the sun you might want to include into your magic item. What we did not do is we did not add in things that are revolving around magic. Damage. So we're not dealing with damage or to hit. These are all different. They have a magical effect that isn't just about reducing hit points or having a better chance to hit. Okay, so this table exists. So if we can make this table and make 100 different ones, which is more than you'll see in any Game Master book, I believe maybe the only one I can think of that might have something equivalent but not exactly equivalent is the Pathfinder 2nd edition book. But even that, I wouldn't say is brilliant. And it's a mix. It's a mix of positive and negative stuff. So you're getting a lot of different stuff going on here. So yeah, building items 82. I believe building items on page 82. And they do have some information on it, a lot of maths, but then they have item quirks. And there's quite a few item quirks here. So we can, if we want to do this, we can. And then you include your magic item properties that we've made here on this table, and then you have pretty much all the resources you need to make all the types of magic items you can think of. So considering that, what do you think? I think we should just go for it. Why not? Let's do this. Let's make that a thing. I'm going to maybe end that poll. Actually, no, I don't want to end that poll. What I want to do is I want to jump over here and we could to negatives, turns your skin an unusual color. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I think it's clear. I think we're doing negative effects. Because for every negative effect we have is a completely new, yes, you roll a d20 and there you go. You get a completely new magic item, and combinations will give you even more magic items. So it's the toolbox. We're doing the toolbox today. So hashtag, what are some negative magic item traits? We'll call them traits, shall we? And I think the easiest way, because I can see you guys are already flowing fairly quickly, and there's a lot of people in here, I'm going to just transfer this straight into the document fairly quickly. So I'm sure I won't be able to keep up with you. This is usually what happens. There's 15 of you here already. It's going to be fast and frantic today. So let me do that now. And I will show you the document as we get closer to the end, or at least during the break, which is in about 25 minutes. So let's go here. Let's go copy. And we'll do 100 of these things. Let's do this down here. New page, probably a good idea. Paste. And so 100. And I will do a couple of hashtags so I know that this is new. 100 negative. Negative magic item traits. So that we know what it is. And then we drop this down again. We go number it. And I will highlight and make it larger. It's too big. There. Okay. All right. My phone isn't keeping up with you people, so yeah, just bear with me. I'll be doing a lot of cutting and pasting. I'll have a drink of water, and we'll do this. Negative trait. Let's make that happen. Okay. Slowly turns you into a wraith depending on the number of kills. I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's do that. We need a tag name. So we did tag names. Remember when we did this for our magic item properties, we had a tag name. So we want a tag name for these sorts of things as we go, if we can. Okay? So maybe we'll call this Wraith. Wraith. Okay, that's our first one. Slowly turns you into a Wraith depending on the number of kills. I'll go backwards, and I'll try to do this in alphabetical order too, so that it's easy to finish off and complete. Whew, okay, so sentient clothing, whatever item it is, makes all your clothing come to life, and none of of it likes you. Okay. Okay, so sentient clothing. Milton, we've got your... You guys are very creative. There's some very clever ideas there. There really are. So this is sentient clothing. That'll be our tag name. Sentient clothing. Whatever item it makes, makes all your clothing come to life, and none of it likes you. It's very, very clever. That sounds awesome. Okay, so what have we got here? Hat helmet that never fits. Roll D8 on and you are blinded by the helmet blocking vision until you... All right, well, let's forget about bonus actions, because I'm not going to do bonus actions. Okay, I want you to be able to port it over into any game system, and bonus actions are a very 5e thing, and I couldn't give a toss about that, so let's not do that. So the hat... Okay, so let's go with blinding hat. I don't know why is it that you've gone with blinding hat? It's very specific. Hat that never fits. It's a hat. Something hat. The loose hat. It's not the loose hat. Something is the tag name for this is going to be difficult. So we're going to go with a question mark. I don't know what to call it yet, but it's about hats or helmet that never fits. Da da da. Okay. Until you reposition it. Let's get rid of this. Okay, that's it. We've got that in. I don't know what to call it, but we've got it, Fred. It's in. Sort of truth. Okay, negative trait. See invisibility. See invisible. While wielding the item, you cannot see walls, doors, floors, ceilings, but can see other invisible creatures. That is so funny. Charles, very clever. Very, very clever. That's hilarious. I love it. And it's called See Invisibility. So while wielding the item, you can see walls, doors, floors, ceilings, but you cannot see da da da. But can see, but can see otherwise. But can see invisible items and creatures. There. Okay, that's better. That makes it a little more sense. Just getting the grammar right. Okay, let's keep going. Devour weapon has the ability to do auto double max damage, but it takes one of your abilities down by 1. Okay. I don't know about that. That does not seem like a detrimental or a negative effect. That doesn't sound like a detrimental effect. So we need to, that'll need to get adjusted for it to work for this. Let's go here. Devour weapon. Devouring weapon has the ability to take one of your special abilities. I guess that's what we're trying to do there. Okay, there we go. So that's in. I've got it. Pale Rider, it's down. Or athlete's foot makes your feet sweat profusely and skin peels. Right. Let's just call it athlete's foot rather than going with the of. put that in here. This is Fred's idea. Okay, athlete's foot. And we just need to adjust this. Makes your feet sweat profusely and the skin peels. Dear. Right. There are so many ideas. You guys have just gone nuts. Milton. A sticky sword. It sticks to literally everything. That is funny. I've heard of this before too. Look, what we're dealing with is negative effects. They're not necessarily curses as such, but they're negative effects. So with a curse, it's not quite the same. Curses we can do another day, okay? Curses is something else. We can do a list of curses for sure. But no, let's just go with negative effects. That's what we're trying to aim for. So it doesn't mean that if the weapon has this, or the item has this, or the armor has this, that you can't get rid of the effect. You just stop using the item. With a curse, you're kind of stuck with it. And we're going to call it sticky sword, or sticky weapon. I think we're going to call it sticky weapon. And that'll do. Sticky weapon. A sticky weapon. A weapon sticks to literally everything. Okay, that would be annoying, but we'll put it in. It's in. Okay, so do they share any positive? No, we're not making a magic item. All we're doing is just the negative effects. We've done like a 100 magical properties that all have beneficial properties. They all do good things, things that you would want. Whereas this is the other side of the coin. And the reality is, when you make magic items, you need to be able to make magic items that have positive effects and have negative effects as well. Okay, so hello Derp, how are you? Derp is also a patron. Thank you for being here. Shoes that alert you to the enemy by squeaking really loud. Well, and work like sonar, also alert the enemy. So I think what we'd do is we'd take the negative aspect of that. So squeaky, squeak as in squeaky. We're going to make something squeaky. Squeaky shoes is fun, but we can do a lot more than just squeaky shoes. Let's go with this. Let's just go with squeaky. Squeaky. So the item alerts enemies to your location by squeaking really loudly. By squeaking loudly. Okay, I think that's it. I got squeaky down. Cool, cool. How are we doing? Am I gonna fall behind? I am very much falling behind. Ooh, look, this is gonna be one of those times I'm gonna have to go back and put everything back in. What do you got here, Pale Rider? So I've got Milton's squeaky idea. Shield of attraction, +1 shield, but it attracts all attacks. Okay, so what we'll do is attract attacks. I think that's really what we're not. We don't want to stipulate it as a specific item. What we want is just the trait itself. Attract attacks. Attract attacks. I think that's what we're going to call it. Yeah, so we'll do that. Let's do this. Okay. Attract attacks. And what we want to do is get rid of the plus thing. Attracts all attacks toward the holder of the item, whatever item it is. So we attract attacks. Good. Boots of blinding speed. Increase movement speed by 5 feet, but blinds the wearer. So blind, I think really what we do is we're just doing it blind. Blind. The wearer of the wearer or holder of the item is blind. Is blinded. There we go. Blind. That's nice and simple. Got it. Okay. Negative. Alarm warns all creatures of a specific type that you are nearby. Nice. Good one. Charles, pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, let's go here. If you can't get a bunch of ideas from all the stuff that people are chucking in here today, I don't know how else we can help you. Because there's more ideas than I can write down. Right now, alarm. Warns all creatures of a specific type that you are nearby. Perfect. Really good. Nicely formed too. I had to do very little for that. Bludgeoning damage from impacting a wall or tree. And I don't know. No, we're leaving that alone. Sorry, Fred. It's gone. It takes your ability, strength, intelligence down permanently. Okay, so I don't know what else we can call this. We call it reduction. I guess we can call it reduction. I don't know what else to call it. Reduction. And the item reduces your ability score. Abilities. And the item reduces one or more of your abilities. I'm not going to say permanently. Okay. I'm not that hard set in trying to do that sort of thing. So yeah, we won't put permanent. Oh, shizers. Look at this. Fancy hat that is lined with some magnetic glue requiring some very rare and exotic remedies to release after putting it on. Glue. Let's call this glue. Copy. And glue would go right about after this. Wow. Glue. Okay. What we want to do is we want to put something in here that's going to sort of make sense. Glue is kind of like sticky weapon, but this is glue is something else. The item sticks to anything. We're going to put a question mark on that one because I feel like sticky weapon doesn't have to be sticky weapon. Sticky could actually be something else. Yeah, I might just highlight that so that I know that there's a sort of a repeat going on here. Okay, all right. Critical commenter berates the user for every mistake or miss. Oh gosh, yes. Yes. Fred, not bad. Pretty good. Let's do that one. Critical commenter. That will be annoying. but it's funny. Anyway, critical commenter. The item berates the user for every mistake or miss. There we go. Nice. Good addition. Throwing dagger that always boomerangs into a companion. Friendly fire. Okay, let's do friendly fire. Not a desirable thing. The magic item, magic weapon, magic item or weapon always hits an ally. Yeah, you would want to get rid of that pretty quickly, I'd imagine. Or not always hits, always targets an ally. Let's do that. Because you're not always going to hit them, but you might target them all the time. Friendly fire. Clever, Pale Rider. Got that. Helmet of thoughts. The wearer can sense the surface thoughts of nearby creatures, but the wearer's thoughts are broadcast to everybody nearby. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we're going to do this. Truth teller. Oh dear. I can see that. That's going to be fun. Jeez, there are so many ideas in here now. What do I want to call this? Broadcast thoughts. Broad. I need to just trim this down. It's a bit too long. Broadcast thoughts. The wearer of the item can sense the surface thoughts of nearby creatures and broadcasts them to everyone nearby. Hilarious. Love it. Negative trait. Truth teller. You must first confess a secret that no one within 30 feet already knows before each use of the weapon or item. Very specific. We're going to take the idea, Charles, and we might refine it down a little bit. So, there's a reason why the One Ring is so well known. The One Ring from Lord of the Rings, it's because it has negative things, not just positive things. Yes, it makes you invisible. Yes, you can see other things that other people can't see, but it also has a whole lot of drawbacks as well. Truth teller. Now, yeah, I think that's fine. Truth teller, we'll put that in the T's. Truth teller. The item forces you to confess a secret. That no one already knows. Okay, so let's do that. 30 feet. A secret that no one within 30 feet already knows. That's it. That's good. That's good enough. We'll do that. Okay, negative effect. You swap bodies with the person on your right. Doesn't matter how far. Okay. Swap bodies. And swap. It's going to go right about here. Swap body. Let's do this. Okay. The item makes you swap bodies with another creature. There we go. That is going to be very, very awkward. Soundless speech silences the voices of anyone possessing it. Oh, okay. Must always tell lies. Oh, I see. Okay, I get what you're doing. Like, yep. So let's do this. Man. Soundless speech. Let's just go silence. I think silence is the way to just call it. Silence. Here. Pardon me. Silence. The voice of anyone possessing the magic item is the voice of anyone possessing the magic item is the magic item produces no sound. Perfect. Got it. Sweet. Next one. Liar. And that is going to be an interesting one. Let's see. LLL for liar. Let's do this somewhere around here. We are top of the hour, and I'm a little bit worried about going away because you guys have got so much stuff floating into the chat right now. Liar. The item makes the holder the wearer or holder always tell lies. Okay. Yes. Glove of listening. The wearer can understand all languages but can speak none. So that the glove of listening. Okay. So this is mute. We're going to call this mute. I'm not really trying to make magic items specifically. So we're making the features so that you can use these to make your own stuff. Mute. And here we go. Paste. The wearer can understand all languages but can speak. But can't speak. That's it. Let's make that. That will be frustrating. Let's give a PC both the truth teller and the liar. Yeah. Arrows that always miss your immediate target. Miss. So a projectile that always misses its target. So miss. Let's go with, yeah, I think we can put that here. Miss. It's a good idea. The magic weapon or projectile always misses its target. Oh, that'll be a giant pain. So I'm going to apply this to melee and missile fire. We're going to expand it just a little bit. Blistering skin. Your skin keeps blistering till you see a healer. All right. Whoa. Rope that never stays bound. Oh. Stretchy rope. Oh, good lord. All right. Hashtag. Keep the negative magic item traits coming. I'm going to take a quick break because I need to, otherwise I'm going to hurt myself. But I'm going to put this in. I am compiling all of these, and I will continue to compile them for as long as I can. Truth teller, I just need to figure out where I got up to. Yes. So I think I got up to about here, and I'll come back to that. Geesh. Talk about, this is going to be one of those times. I remember when we did shop names, you guys produced so much information so quickly that I just could not keep up. But I'll go back through this for sure. So I'm going to go take a quick break. Arnold will look after you. You keep throwing your ideas out there, and I will collect them up. Right now, for those of you who are wanting to know exactly how many have I written down, we are sitting at about 22, but we have far more than that because I haven't written them all down yet. So yeah, 22 so far. Doing really well. Okay, 5 minutes or less, I'll be back, and I'll look after you. Ah, dear. I can see you guys are having a good time in there. Right, let's get back into the fray of this. Just very quickly, I will show you what we have so far. And there we go. Here we go. This is what you guys have come up with so far that I've written down. And there's a lot more that I need to add, of course, but so we've got a few. As the hat one I haven't named, but we're doing very well for the short space of time. It's just been 40 minutes worth of you guys throwing stuff, and I still haven't got everything down, so that's really good. And as I said before, we already have 100 different magic item properties. These are all mostly, I believe they were generally positive stuff. Not all of them, but I think most of them are. Anyway, so yes, we're working our way through not this list, but our new list, which is the negative magic item traits. And I am putting it into order as I go, so it's sort of taking a little bit longer, but I'm also rewriting stuff. Okay, let's keep going. Blistering skin. Your skin keeps blistering till you seek a healer. Okay, so Milton, I think we've got that. Blistering skin. Blister. This one here. Put that in. Blistering skin. Your skin keeps blistering till you seek a healer. That's good. Got it. That's Milton's idea. That's up to you as a game master. When you're using... Look, all of these things are not meant to be set in concrete. They are just jumping off points for what you're going to do with them later on. When we make these lists, that's always the intention behind it. Anyway, let's have a look. Let's keep going. Gift of Gubby, your bones become rubbery and bendy. I'm not quite sure what to do with that. I'm going to put this in. I'm not sure what that word means. Actually, I need to do this. What does that mean? Garby. Garby looks like a TV show. Garby is a... Okay. Define. No. Okay, so we need to do a little bit else. What are we going to do with this? What can I do with this? Let's try bend. Let's do bend. Your bones and body become rubbery and bendable. That'll do. Cool. Got it. Fabio hair grows a foot a day. Fabio hair. Yeah, okay. We can do this. Fabio hair. Who would have guessed? Your hair So now let's do this. This is going to be funnier. The hair on your body grows a foot a day. You could wind up with some very hairy areas. That is going to cause a lot of problems. Anyway, Fabio here. Good Lord. What else we got? The item makes your toes develop little faces that start screaming until you see a healer. You must have to look at the healer. That's very complicated. Let's try to make that a little bit easier. I need to be able to tone this down just a little bit. Let's see what we can do with this. This is... Let's go with many faces. Alright. The item makes your body... I'm going to get the toes out and put body. Develop little faces that start screaming. That's much funnier. This is very Evil Dead, isn't it? Many faces or screaming faces? I think screaming faces is better. Let's cut that. Scream. Let's put it right there. Okay. It's good. Screaming faces is in. Thank you, Milton. Got it. Negative trait. False light. While possessing the item, your shadow always faces the wrong direction. Oh. It's an odd one. Let's do that, though. I like it, Charles. Cool. False. Got Fabio here. We want to have that before that. False light. While possessing the item, your shadow is always facing the wrong direction. It's a really odd effect, but cool. Inverted. Must always walk on your hands. Oh my gosh. That is very strange. Inverted. Let's go here. So inverted posture. Okay, so you must always walk on your hands. Walking around on your hands is going to be a bit of a pain, but odd. Item of future sight gains the ability to what? To see into the future for a set amount of time, but slowly makes the user's eye stalks take an hourglass shape, and the character sees everything age. Well, I'm not trying to make magic items. I'm just going to do the negative stuff, okay? Not trying to make magic items. If you want to share the magic items, I'm sure somebody will note them down if they like them. Wrestling vision. Oh, is that what it is? It's wrestling vision. The item makes everything you touch develop sentience and able to talk to you. Nothing else. It's just an item. Oh, okay. Okay, so That could be a very negative problem. It might go the other way. It's got all sorts of things. So let's have a look. What are we going to call this? Let's go sentient. I guess that's the one. I guess that's the best way to go is sentient. Sentient. Okay. Sentient and sentient clothing, very, very similar though, that's the thing. Okay, the item makes everything you touch develop sentience. Okay, alright, so now you've got a whole lot of talking stuff around you. Oh, there's no way I could do that. I have a real issue with oatmeal. Fred, it's beyond beyond me. Hat full of bats. You get a hat that's just full of golden bats no matter what you do, but it's really stylish. Thanks, Milton. I know where that came from. Okay. Let's go. Let's just put bats. Bats. So this is going to be. Let's see. The item is full of golden bats. Coloured bats. Okay, all right. Put a question mark beside that one, but I got it down. Yeah, yeah. So okay, so that's so we can actually take glue off then because we've got the sticky weapon could actually be. I might refine that down, eh? I think we should. So sticky should actually read more like sticky. A weapon or item sticks to literally everything. Perfect. That covers everything now. Good. Earthbound. Oh, gore. Fred. Okay, earthbound. Let's do the earthbound. It's going to have to be between this one and let's do this. Earthbound. You can't fly by any means, and falling damage and falling speed. That's too hard to figure out. Falling damage. Doubles. I think that's fine. we've got that. We don't want people to have to try to figure out, like, oh, how much more damage do you do if you're falling double your speed? Bag of devouring acts as a bag of holding, but anything left in it more than 24 hours isn't disintegrated and lost forever. There's already a bag of devouring, and yeah, so we'll leave that alone. Age shifter. Every successful use of the item increases your age by X years. Oh dear, age shifter. That's you could wind up a baby. Earrings that deafen you. I'm going to leave that to you guys to figure out. Age shifter. Age. AG. Should be going here. So let's go here. Every successful use of the item increases your age. Increases your age. I'm not going to say by X years. No, we can do that. We'll leave that. And every unsuccessful use of the item decreases your age by X years. Okay, let's do that. We've got that one. Deafen. I think we don't have deafen, so let's do deafen. D. Devour, deafen. Okay, let's see that. Deafen. The item makes you unable to hear. Okay. Right, we've got deafen now. Item that gives you water breathing on land and land breathing on. Oh, I don't know, Milton. What we're doing there? I'm a little confused. Speechless. Speechless. Speech only silences your voice, so it's not nearly silenced because they can clap, rattle things. We've already got something like that, don't we? I'm sure we do. I'm sure we've got something that's very like that we've included. There's I'm sure there's something like that. Okay. Okay, I think that we've got that covered already. Okay, so next one. What else we got here? Killer's Bane. Item prevents you from seeing, hearing creatures of a similar type to the last one you killed. Good lord. That is a complicated little sucker. Alright, okay, let's have a look here. Killer's Bane. Killers. Okay, let's do this here. Put this in. Killer's Bane. Do we need to change this? Item prevents you from seeing and hearing creatures of a similar type to the last one you killed. That would be a complete pest. Yes, that is definitely a negative. Okay. Item of stone skin gives a +1 armor class, but no. But after a number of uses petrifies. Okay, so let's do this. We'll take part of your idea. PPP. Petrified skin. the item I'm not sure if I like this here. Let's have a look. The item slowly petrifies the user's skin till they turn to stone. Okay, let's do that. I got it down. Yeah, I know you will. I know you have. Rope that never stays bound. That is funny. Trenton, that is funny. Rope that never stays bound. What are we going to call that, though? I don't know what to call it. We'll put it at the end here as a thing to be tagged. Oh. Needs to be something else. The item can never be tied or bound. I don't know what that would be, so I'm going to put it here in a question mark. Put it near the end. We've got the hat one, which I will just grab, and I'll move that too because I don't know what to do with it. Cut. Which I don't really want it to be a hat anyway, because it needs to be something we can attach to anything. So let's do that. Sweet. Cool. Stretchy rope. Stretches, shrinks, and definitely does no good to tie anything. It stretches, it can't climb it, it stretches. Stretch. I think stretch and shrink need to be their own thing. So let's go here and stretch, shrink. Stretch and shrink are different things. So shrinks. The item shrinks, reduces the size of the wearer. Till they become subatomic. It's the Incredible Shrinking Man, isn't it? Really? Or Incredible Shrinking, whoever's unlucky enough to have this, shrinks. So shrink. H-I, we'll put that here. And then we want stretches. The wearer stretches or holder item stretches by a set amount. I'll let you decide on that one. Stretches. Stretch. S-T-T-T-T-T. Stretch. Just going to go here. Paste. Cool. Right, I got that one. Two little words. Came up with a lot of different ideas there. How are we doing here? We're about 37. We're on about number 37. So we're doing pretty well, if you ask me. Okay, so now we've got a bucket load of stuff, but I'll work my way through here. The item that stops all attacks that you make and replaces them with a genuine compliment to your enemy. Milton. Shit. Oh dear. Okay. All right. Well, we gotta be not too brutal with these. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that alone. Um. Oh dear. Oh, I'm just trying to think. Is this? This is the. Oh. So I don't want to do that. What I want, we'll take a we'll take the compliment. Copy. Let's do this instead. Um, Compliment. Let's take that as our tag and play with that. Compliment. Compliment. I think we can do this here. Alright, so let's go here. Okay. The item offers compliments to your enemy when they hit you. That is very funny. Let's leave that one. I think we've jeez. Yeah, I'm sure, Pale Rider. I am very much behind. You guys have really just smashed this out really, really fast. I will have to go back on my holidays through this live stream and port everything across. There's a lot here. Item of regeneration and aggression absorbs the life force of the. What is it? Ellen to heal the user, but makes use of. Okay. I think what we'll do here is to just. Let's do this. Absorb. I think that's what we were trying to do here. So let's do that. Absorb life. Okay. And we'll write this. The item transfers or absorbs the wearer or holder's life force. Okay. You're going to lose hit points having this thing around. Okay, mimic. What do you got here, Charles? Item causes you to magically speak in the same voice, tone, and accent as the person with which you are conversing. Oh no. Oh no. That is bad. That is such a bad thing to have. Okay, let's do this then. Mimic. 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 Here we go. Let's do this. Item causes you to magically speak in the same voice, tone, and accent as the person, as the creature. With which you are conversing. Yeah, that will annoy somebody, for sure. What do you got here, Milton? It makes it so you don't quite have enough food, but you're too full to make more. Living use, always slightly undersatisfied. Oh, I see. Hungry. That's a novel idea. Hungry. No matter how much food you consume, you are always hungry. Always starving. Let's do that. That is cruelty on a new level. Anyway, we've got it. Okay. What? Toratilis males who use a curse word every second word when talking. Oh dear. Irony. Oh god. Let me just check. Actually, I'm going to check this word. I need to know that this, because you've done this a few times, Charles and I've, not Charles, Fred and I'm like, what the heck does that word mean? I'm not really familiar with that word, so let's have a look. Oh, I see. No, I don't think that's the right word for that. No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Fred. So what we can do is we can take that idea, but we'll re-tag it. Copy. And I'm not sure what we'll call it at this present time, so I'll put it near the end. And so we'll put in your suggestion. You use a curse word every second word when talking. Use a curse word in every sentence. Every sentence. It's quite hard to do that. When talking. I think that's probably better. Okay, let's do this. That's fine. Okay. Dear. Irony, an item that cuts who wields it most, especially after dealing damage to the target. This is kind of a joke suggestion. Yeah, okay. Terminate. Makes you keep saying, I'll be back. Oh, I know. I think that's funny, but let's put it in. Terminate. Terminate. Let's put that there. Terminate. The item makes you keep saying, I'll be back. Yeah, sure. We can do that. Got it. Terminate. Grit. Jeez. You guys are so far ahead. Bullet tooth. Okay, so what have we got here? Grit. And that is... Oh, where are we up to? Grit. How am I doing for time? Oh, okay. Grit causes the wielder of the item to leave footprints of sand. Doesn't matter if the wielder is wearing shoes, socks, whatever. It still gets sandy footprints. Oh, grit. Oh, I see. I see what you're trying to do there. D, E, F, G. Grit. Causes the wielder of the item to leave sandy footprints everywhere. That's quite funny. Toad touch covers you in warts. Oh, toad touch covers you. Yes, let's do this. Very good. Very good. Nice. Toad touch. Toad. Right there. Ooh. Pardon me, people. Sorry. Toad touch. The item covers the wielder or holder of the item in warts. Yes, that will do nicely. Sweet. Okay, I know we're not supposed to do magic items, but this is a real life one of an ice cream machine that's always broken down when you want ice cream. Okay. I mean, you could do them, but I just won't mark them into the table. I'm not going to jump between two documents. It's just going to be too hard. There's so much information coming through. Yes, I saw it as claymation, highly bendable. Yeah, I think I just went with something else. I mean, I think I had a word down. I covered it. So yeah. When you pick up an extremely powerful weapon, a random hero walks past telling you that they killed the big bad guy and the land has been restored to peace. The game's over. Oh, good Lord. No, I'm leaving that off. American culture reference that is the rest of the world may not have to deal with. Yeah. Ice cream machine thing. The ice cream machine thing. I don't really quite understand the ice cream machine thing, but hey, whatever works for you guys, okay? Trenton, what do you got here? A seeing stone that only shows you a place at random across a plane of existence. let's get rid of the seeing stone, but let's take the concept that you've got there, because it's quite funny. I don't know what to call it, so I'm going to put it into the untagged area. Okay. Paste. The item only shows you a place at random across any plane of existence. Yes, that not terribly useful. You hear the opposite of whatever everyone says. Oh, good Lord, misunderstood. That's very clever. Let's do that. Misunderstood. Misunderstood. So that's going to go right about, I believe, here. Paste. Let's call it misunderstood. You hear the opposite of whatever everyone says. So that's really going to mess things up. Okay, all right. Pale Rider, what do you got here? Item of immortality. An item that gives the user access to multiple cells, even All right. Lich. We're just going to call it Lich. Fine with the concept of them transforming into a Lich. The other stuff we'll leave alone. Lich. The item slowly transforms the user into an undead lich. Okay. Be a few people who will want that though. That's the only problem. Okay, next. The curse of little screaming toes is the best thing I've ever thought of. I think it's really good. I just like the idea of not just restricting it to toes. Little screaming faces everywhere seems like a good idea. Lightning rod. You attract lightning from any clouds within 15 miles. Jesus, that's rough. Okay, all right. Let's mark this one down. What is it? Lightning? It's lightning rod, isn't it? L for lightning rod. Lightning. Oh, someone's upset. I can hear it. Okay, lightning rod. You attract lightning from any clouds, within 10 miles. Okay. That's bad news. Potion of the opposite. Potion is as the right effect, but after a few turns does the opposite. I'm lost. Okay. An item of your shoelaces will always be tied up together, meaning you have to be very careful not to trip. Oh, okay. Jeez. Okay, what do we got here? I think shoelaces is where I will pick things up when I have to put this all together. So I suppose I should show you what you've got here. There's a lot. You guys have got a lot of stuff down. Shoelaces. Finished here in chat. Okay, so let me at least show you what you've got here in terms of. I mean, that's half a table almost done. Like that's a heap of stuff. Heap of stuff. You've done so much in such a short space of time. So I'm very impressed. So yes, if those of you were thinking, oh, it's not going to be possible doing 100 negative magic item traits, not really possible. No, I think you guys are doing pretty well. So this is what you've got so far. So negative magic item traits, and some of these might need a little bit of a rewrite, but yep, we've got absorb life, age shifter, alarm, athlete's foot, attract attacks, bats, bend, blind, blistering skin, broadcast thoughts, compliment. It's compliment your enemy by critical commenter, deafen, devouring, earthbound, Fabio here, false light, friendly fire, grit, hungry, inverted position, killer's bane, liar, lich, lightning rod, mimic, misunderstood, mute, petrify skin, reduction, which is basically going to shrink. Our reduction is reducing your abilities. Yep. Screaming faces, see invisible. Sentient clothing. Sentient, which we might wind up folding into sentient clothing. We'll see. Shrinks. Silence, squeaking, sticky, stretches, swap body, terminator, toad touch, truth teller, and wraith. And there's a couple here that haven't got some tag names. So I would say that's roughly about half of what we needed in an hour and a half, which is very good. So that means that the next time we roll round doing this, I suspect we probably finish it. I think we would probably wind up finishing it, something like this. I am probably going to have to add in a lot of 300 if possible. I'm sure there are 300 possible things that you could put in here. But by the time I've finished going through the chat and plopping all of your ideas in, there's going to be much, much more. Screaming toes. I'm not going to call it screaming toes. I just like screaming faces. I just like the idea you could have screaming faces anywhere on your body. So, yeah. So that's... my chat went all funny. I switched over to a screen before I should have. Sorry about that, people. You wind up with your screen going all completely nuts. I apologize. Sorry about that. You can layer upon layer and upon layer. So that's actually worked out really well. So I think we can establish, since there's already a table for magic item properties on Patreon, and we already did a live stream doing that. So and it's complete. Negative magic item traits is not going to be that difficult for us to build out. We have certainly covered probably more than I've seen in any other book in terms of negative magic item traits or properties. So well done. Well done. And I'm sure there will be many, many more to come. It's going to be a fun time. Okay, I'm going to get going. Tomorrow I'll be talking about solo monsters. This is not something I've necessarily talked that much about. So for those of you who are looking forward to solo monster discussions, and really there will be a lot of 5e stuff in there, but there's a lot of system agnostic stuff. So I'm not really, because solo monsters have always been a problem, not just for 5e. So, pretty much any role-playing game has problems with a solo or single monster as a battle. So we'll be covering that as well. And I've got some stuff to sort of talk about with regard to that. So, look, huge thank you to everybody in the chat. I do appreciate it. It really was wonderful. Thank you to all of my patrons who support me on Patreon, because without you, I can't keep doing this. Without people watching and taking part, it really doesn't work very well. Thank you for everybody who took part in the poll today. I do appreciate it. So do you make your own homebrew magic items? 80%? No, 9%. So that 9% of people, I want you to start making some magic items of your own. Just watching, 9%. Oh, that's fine. So yes, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's been listening and watching, taking the ideas. People who've been sharing your ideas, you've really done a marvellous job. Milton, F. Hubber, Charles, Overboard, or Joe. Joe's also a patron and a moderator. Thank you for being here, buddy. And we've had some really good discussions. There's been a lot of information from Charles Butler, Fred Hubber, Milton. You guys have really worked very hard. Trenton, you in the chat, also really, really useful. Pale Rider, who was here for a little while as well. And if I've missed anybody in terms of your feedback and your contribution to the discussion, I do apologise. Derp was here. I almost forgot about Derp. I do apologise if I'd missed you out. It was not my intention to do so. But really, you make this work. And by sharing and working together, you actually reduce your own workload as a game master and a dungeon master. Cyril, I almost forgot about Cyril as well. And Shiner81, who is also here. So yes, by working together, you guys can actually do all the work you need to get done by helping each other out. And this is really what the live stream's all about, and why I don't hide them anymore. Okay? You need to work together to make all that work a lot easier to get done. So, look, wherever you are in the world. No, it's all right, Milton. Don't worry about it. So wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, the night, or the wee early morning, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.